Welcome back to the podcast. Well, you know what? That's never how I start. This is the problem when you don't use the music and you're trying to do everything like it's a TV show. And I know this was my idea, but I'm a man of creature and a person of habit.
You can blame it on AI if you really want.
I intend to, and then I'm also going to sing its praises. So you know what? It's the Lighthouse IT Solutions podcast back again. I am one of many hosts, if many equals 2, but is not greater than 3.
We've had
divided by 5.
a few people on this now. Just haven't done video.
Well, are they really hosts, or are they just,
Guests.
you're on vacation?
That's true. Yeah.
He let out the secret as to why we do guest shows. Griffin gets vacation time. Yeah, I'm Man Almadeer, joined as always by Mr. Griffin.
Howdy.
So I always call you. I never want to use your last name.
I know.
I'm trying to dox you.
It's like, oh, my last name.
I don't mind using my last name, but I never want to dox you. But even though you probably...
I got to say, AI has no idea what your last name is.
Oh, yeah.
It's weird.
And that's a great starting point, because why are we so obsessed with AI? Because AI is the 2 letters that every single business owner is being bombarded with right now.
Yeah.
And so what we thought about is, well, why don't we talk about AI? Because we've always talked about the news when it comes to AI. We've talked about all the cool stuff subtly that we can do. We've talked about the dangers, but we've never really hit it head on. And one of the things that I love is in this new format is we can break things down and we can actually talk about stuff.
Yeah.
That we're excited about, scared about, whatever. And so today would just be natural, let's talk AI.
I want to talk about that actual engine of AI and how it changes how you can use it for small businesses. So
yeah, you can use it to write poems.
Or spammy emails.
I like to use it. I write summaries of my D&D sessions and then have it compose lyrics and then put it into another AI that then generates a song.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. That's just very niche use case. But yeah.
I understand that it's drying up our oceans, but it's money well spent if I can giggle because my character does something stupid.
Well, it might not be doing that if you're doing a local LLM too. So
there is also local LLMs.
Yeah. Yeah, and LLM is large language model, by the way, which I guess we should explain what that is too.
We can get behind it, but realistically, there's so much more than just the chat window that you think of when we talk about ChatGPT. And I think sometimes people forget, or they think that ChatGPT is Google++. It's just a search engine, but it's really not. Yeah. It's so much more.
It's not like a blog post generator too, it's so much bigger of a concept than just, it could help you buy things too, nowadays. It's weird it has the ability to go out and purchase things. It's crazy.
And it can help you compare and make informed decisions based on things. And I know what you're thinking. Yeah, but Matt, I'm an SMB. I'm a small business owner, and AI is really just this thing where you have to spend lots of money in, and only companies like Amazon and Walmart are able to have the advantage when it comes to implementing AI.
Dude, I would argue it's almost better and more useful for small businesses because they don't have the manpower to, put into other tasks.
You've got a little bit of investment cost, but you're absolutely right. In actuality, small businesses have the ability to reap the most rewards from utilizing AI. Why do I say that? Because think of a cruise ship, right? They take forever to move and change. These large corporations, yes, they're able to implement AI, but everything has to go through so much red tape that at the end of the day, it takes them forever to adopt.
Yeah, and then at that point, 18 months later, everything's changed in terms of the tech of what they were trying to consider. So now it's like, okay, well, we got to reevaluate again.
And as a small business, we don't have that. We're not
No, you could
saddled with that.
you could roll out a whole workflow in less than a week. Yeah.
If I want to change our entire business models to only selling peach cobbler, I can do that tomorrow.
I'd have to learn how to make peach cobbler, but I could at least find out how.
But right? Oh, I would use AI to figure out the most efficient way to make peach cobbler, and probably come up with the best recipe. But in reality, as a small business, I don't have shareholders that I have to mess around with. I don't have. I mean, I obviously have an accountability to my team, things like that. I'm being ridiculous. We say we would sell peach cobbler tomorrow, but the reality is that we can make movements faster than big corporations. And with AI, because it's got this multiplier factor when it comes to labor, we can reap the rewards and the ROI faster.
Mm-hmm.
So if you wanted to, there's a decision we can make today and execute this afternoon. It's not let's wait around for months.
It's interesting to think about. The small businesses are probably having a harder time in hiring too, because you don't have an HR department, you don't have a recruiter to help, you don't have, a way to vet out and that kind of thing. So a corporation might be able to hire easily, but a small business might not be able to as well. So it's easier to roll out AI in that sense as well. It's great.
And typically we define growth by headcount.
Yeah.
And that's not really true.
Not anymore. Yeah. Past couple of years, it's changed.
So what if we change the narrative? What if we change growth as being how big we are from a standpoint of employees, and focus it back on, output, revenue, and what we can get back? And so if you were thinking about the old days, maybe a plumbing company might have a need that they're doing so much business out front, but they have administrative work. Well, you would probably have to add admin staff in order to get to it.
Yeah, invoicing and all the complex stuff in the back end that you don't see.
Automation, double checking things. So what if something like AI breaks that? What if AI is able to change how you do business and add labor as you need it?
Mm-hmm.
It's labor by the minute, and that labor is highly efficient.
Yeah, could you add 10 more fleet vehicles and only have to add one more admin person instead of, every person?
And those fleet vehicles make you way more money than the admin people. And this is not a detriment to say that, like, there is a time when you need administrative people.
Yeah.
They make the world go round.
I will go through the rule of empathy and all that stuff. Yeah.
But it's about taking your staff and empowering it.
Yep.
And I love it. So let's get right down into it. Let's talk about AI, and let's chat a little bit about chatbots and maybe actually agents.
Yep.
So what exactly are we talking about? Because AI is a marketing buzzword. It's thrown around a lot, but specifically when we're talking about AI today, and we talk about AI for business, we're not really talking about intelligence in the standpoint of intelligent algorithms. We're talking about something else entirely, aren't we?
Mm-hmm. Like we said, the LLMs, the large language models, and I guess that's what the generative AI term really is kind of what everyone thinks about when they are talking about AI. They may not know it, but that's what they're saying. Those large language models are not even really like doing anything intelligent, if you will. They're doing things logically. They're using statistically like the most likely word to come next after another word.
Isn't it crazy? It's at the end of the day, AI has relegated human thinking, and we're not to the point where it's true human thinking, but it's relegated thinking in quotes to math.
Yeah.
And you're right. So what makes these machines so good, these AIs, these LLMs, so good, is that they are incredibly contextual prediction machines.
Autocomplete on steroids.
What a great way to put that. Autocomplete on steroids. The reality is that AIs don't know facts, but rather they know statistically what the next thing or what the next piece is.
And that's why you got to be careful. We'll talk a little bit about hallucinations and things in a bit, but that's why you have to be kind of mindful and understand how this functions to be concerned. Like, oh, I understand now that it might not be a fact. I need to tell it to go and find the source so I can look at the citation, things like that.
Exactly. So when we're looking at, and let's not forget we all got started with chatbots, right? Like, and I mentioned that sometimes people treat it just like a fancy Google. Well, the chatbot is effectively just a window in which you have a conversation with an AI. And it's great because it provides you with information and it provides you with context. But really, what it's doing is it's taking and turning everything that you asked, your prompt, as we call it, and it's converting it into tokens. And those tokens represent mathematical locations in the model. And it's crazy because these tokens exist in a multi-dimensional sort of storage. They can relate, in these completely movable areas. It's so incredible how it thinks. But effectively, if I say the sky is, well, I've created a prompt. And now what it's going to do is it's going to take a look at my full context and limit those responses. So
were you talking about the weather? It'll talk about the sky is cloudy versus the sky is blue. Yeah.
If I'm asking is, maybe I'm talking aviation. So I'm looking to go flying today. Is the sky... what is the sky?
It's not going to say blue because it knows you don't really care about the color at that time.
But because I gave it the aviation context, it's probably going to assume I'm going to say clear or cloudy, right? Whatever it is.
Yeah.
Now, and that's another thing, though, is LLMs are not trained real time per se. Those are just statistics that they know, and we have to augment those. And if you've ever heard us talk about MCP
tools
or RAG, MCP having an easier name, you nailed it. Tools.
Yeah, it's the easier, more layman term to use.
So it's real exciting. But as if the chatbot wasn't powerful enough, because you could feed in data and be like, hey man, can you restructure this? And then the other thing is, I've also done some forecasting reports. Tell me what Lighthouse looks like in 5 years. And it's taken a look and it says, you know what, based on what we're seeing here, you're going to experience this level of growth. It looks like every 4 years you experience astronomical growth. So it's stuff like that it's able to see and predict and look at it as a low level. But now
with agents, you can actually have it do things. It can do actions of some sort, whether, depending on what you give it and access to an API for software or something like that, then it can physically go out and do whatever you need it to. It's great.
It's fantastic. It's the big evolution that we see right now is the transition from chatbots to agents.
If you're using that plumbing example, the plumbing company, then, it could go out and it could send an invoice when it sees that it needs to. And then, someone pays, it could say, it could send an email off and, do something. It is able to actually interact with things. As
a result of being able to give it tools, we can now empower it to do things. And when it decides that it needs to use a tool, so like you said, I'm going to send this invoice.
Like, imagine not having to do that.
It's
great.
It's crazy. Yeah. And largely the way it works, we talk about these tools. We talk about whether or not it can get information, its training. Of course, the LLM, the data, we do worry a little bit about that storage. But at the end of the day, by allowing it to have tools, this supplements the model. This provides it with information. You're not typically training off of this information. You're typically augmenting it. And so,
and that's a big concern most people have is like, and they should, rightfully so. You should be concerned about what things you're putting into the chatbot or agent so that is it going to be looking at it and training on that data? And then if someone asks about it somewhere else in the world at another time, is that information going to show up?
And that's a great place to put on our IT hats.
Yep.
Right? Because as a managed service provider, our job is to help you. Well, our job one is to help you protect your data. And AI does introduce some massive new risks if you just sort of wing it.
Yeah.
Right?
If you don't know that it's a secure chat and it's not going to train off your data, then you have to be looking out and figuring out how to implement this into your company so that your employees aren't, randomly putting in people's social security numbers into, ChatGPT, OpenAI.
What do we always say? If the product's free,
you're the product. Yeah.
You're the product.
Yeah. So that's the concept of shadow AI. We've heard the term shadow IT, but shadow AI is the idea that your employees might be going out and interacting with these, tools or these chatbots, and oh no, now they've uploaded all of my invoices into a public database,
and now they know how much we make and how much we bill to,
and our clients.
So-and-so.
Our client list is there now. It's super dangerous. You got to be really careful and really start putting into place things, because realistically, a good chunk of your employees are probably using AI.
Another thing to watch out for is the concept of hallucinations. Right?
Yeah.
And we don't mean hallucinations because AI secretly takes drugs. AI effectively is a predictive machine. What I love is, a hallucination is when AI confidently lies to you because it misread or misunderstood the pattern. Another thing that we have is prompt injection, where hackers can hide invisible text on websites to trick your AI into doing things like forwarding private emails.
Yeah.
So it's why you really shouldn't just grab whatever's free or grab whatever's open and just plug your data into it and plug in live systems. On the concept of hallucinations, what if you said that, John Smith, give me a biography on John Smith in Parkersburg, Indiana, right? And it goes through it. It's like, well, the user is very confident that they want this biography on this person. I don't see this person. I don't know any information about this person. But it knows that what I want, my real goal is to get a biography.
So it'll give you a biography on John Smith, even though
it'll do a ton of research on the people of Parkersburg, Indiana, and tell me what the day in the life is, and call that person John Smith.
Mm-hmm.
And next thing you know, you're like, wow, I didn't even know this guy existed, but here it is. He's got all of this information. It's because at the end of the day, it's not actually thinking. It's not telling you, oh, this person doesn't exist. What it is doing is it's telling you, hey, the user really wants a biography. I want to make them happy.
Yeah.
And this also is this sort of level of agreement that AIs have with users is also becoming a problem. So you'll have an issue where because the AI is being trained and taught to only make you happy, it's going to do everything you say, even if what you say is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
It can hallucinate because it wants you to be right.
Yeah.
So if you provide it bad information, it assumes you are the one that's correct. And it's not until you go, hey, did I make a mistake? And it'll be like, yeah, you did.
Yeah.
And you're like, why didn't you call me out on it?
That's why prompt engineering is so important, because you can ask it to double check your own work, or find citations and give us whatever. Yeah, you can do
ways to assist it, but ultimately, AI wants to be helpful to people, and so it's intrinsically programmed to trust you and your.
Yeah,
and it's
so
really not going to tell you wrong.
Yep.
Let's talk a little bit about implementing AI. Yeah, because you might be sitting there right there, and you go, Matt, you've made a really big case for us to implement AI. Good. You should be. I don't want to oversell it and I don't want to undersell it, but it's darn near life-changing.
I always,
just in the minor ways we've implemented it.
Yeah, I like to just say to clients, like when they're asking about it, what tasks are you doing that's recurring, like every month or every week or whatever, or even every day, that could potentially be solved by this in some manner? Like, do you have to open up a PDF or 10 PDFs every month to go through, your expense reports?
Yeah.
Like, is that something that you could just automate and give me the figure I need, and then boom, I've saved, I don't know, even 2 hours a month. Probably will pay for this.
Right.
So
what we do, let's talk about, you're going to want some help. And we get it. Because we've just given you reasons to be scared. We also told you how great it can be. But you're sitting there and you're going, man, I what do we even start? We've been putting it off. I see it on TV. I see people talk about it. I also see that, all of these programs claim to have AI, which just really might mean that they have a logarithmic calculations that are unique to them. And there's a form of AI that we can say is about, making some scoring. But we're talking about using this sort of agentic workflows. We're talking about large language models, ultimately. We're talking about deep learning. Okay? So what's the difference between, hey, there's some company that pops up and says, we can help you out with this?
yeah, it does seem like there's like a gold rush of get into the gold rush of AI.
And in several years, we've changed, I think even ourselves to some extent, right? Like, our introduction into the AI realm has only been about 2 years, and AI has been out for 4.
But we've been focusing on internal needs and such, and a lot of it's just our own research, and we haven't used any of these people who are on LinkedIn and have changed their title overnight.
They go from a marketing person to now they're an AI ops expert.
Yeah.
Here's the reality. Hiring a marketing agency to rewire your company's internal technology is really like trying to hire a painter to fix your electrical panel. Like, it might look nice. The painter might do a good job of making it look fancy, maybe put some flowers on it or something, but your house might burn down if they cut the wrong wires or they install the wrong things. So as your MSP, we're excited to be able to help you journey on this AI sort of direction. And we already know how important your data is and help you control those permissions and your firewalls and security. We know which employees should have access to what. And so I really will encourage you, if you're sitting there, you're going, hey, we want to do this AI thing and we want to be safe. I encourage you, like, employing a company like Lighthouse that has an MSP focus but also has an AI focus as well is just a great direction to move forward.
Yeah, but we've got a security compliance mentality first, so it's
and
a little
that's
different.
Exactly it. We know what we need to protect first, then we can implement AI, and that's really what stands out when you're working in this. There's so many people, and this pop-up agency concept is so crazy. So the first thing that you want to do when you get ready to implement AI is don't do it alone. Find a partner such as Lighthouse to give you a hand.
Yeah.
Right? Like, let's work on this together and let's go through. But what happens the first step 2? What do we do?
You almost have to like back up a little bit and look at the big picture, because you don't want to automate a mess. Like, if you have a chaotic sales process, why try to put that into AI? Yeah.
If you try to automate a mess, you're going to get a really efficient mess.
Yeah. So if you're not doing invoices, in a process, in a procedural way currently, then you need to probably start there first, figure out how to do that, in a way that makes sense, and then convert that into an automated AI process.
So my naming file convention of like final draft version 2, real final draft version 3,
this time for
mistake,
realsies.
Wait, final draft version 4. Like, I probably shouldn't do that. It's probably a little unstructured.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What if I store them in different shared drives too?
Yeah. See, you're not following a process. You gotta.
We need a single source of truth, is what you're saying.
Yep.
And so, okay, we've got our single source of truth. We've got our clean data. Now what we want to do is we want to take a look at, I guess we could call it robot work. Let's start with simple simple tasks that we can use to automate.
Yeah, I mean, if you, what's the thing you say all the time? Like if you had an employee who, maybe like an intern level, who doesn't know your business at all, like you have to go in and explain things first and give it context and like have it understand what's going on. And then you're able to kind of slowly funnel this kind of grunt work to it.
Yeah.
So that it's able to do it. So robot work, yeah, it makes it makes sense. These repetitive rule-based tasks.
What are things that are repetitive? What is rule-based is a great one. What are repetitive rule-based tasks that you can put together, but more importantly, will save your team time? So we kind of look at, these are the tasks that we do that are repetitive, right? So we'll have you write them out. Then what we'll do is we'll say, okay, how much time are you spending per day, per week, per month? Where's your ROI going to be? Because obviously you're not doing it alone. We're going to help you. There's going to be some investment, right? What can we do to help you get the most investment quickly? Okay. So,
I mean, honestly, I find that most people have a pretty good idea of things that randomly they could improve in some manner. And if you don't, then talk to your employees, because your employees are probably going to immediately be like, I do this every month, and this could.
Tell me about your day.
Yeah.
Just help me understand your day.
Yep.
What do you spend the time on? If you could get rid of something, what would it be?
Yeah, data entry,
Great
for
questions.
example. Any of these like random grinding kind of grunt work, easy to automate, easy to put into place. But I guess we should kind of stipulate, like, the idea behind you doing these automated tasks and things. Like you don't want it to feel too robotic when you're showing, like when you're talking to one of your clients though, or your customers. You don't want them to, be like, oh my gosh, I got the wrong thing from these people or something like that. You have to have some level of human auditing in place though, to make sure that some of this, is correct in some manner.
I think that's the big thing is what we're talking about with AI is we're talking about human augmentation. We're not talking about human replacement. And that's a very key thing that we're trying to talk.
Yeah.
We're talking about 10xing your business, right? Like to do like a
marketing
term, right?
10x your business.
We're going to tag this is our 10x rule, right? If we're talking about 10xing your business, I don't want to fire anybody. I want to take your core people that are phenomenal and I want to make them better. I want to take your team and we want to push it to the next level.
Yeah.
And you really have to have empathy to do that. You have to have the time, and you need to encourage your team to understand that what we're trying to do is not steal this away. I want to give you an hour a day extra to do what you love. Like, you're good at your job, and here's where you're good at your job at. I want to give you one more hour to do the parts that you like about your job and take away an hour's worth of work that you hate about your job.
Yeah.
That's what this is really about. Let's talk about making the things, let's talk about focusing on the things that make your job great, the parts that you love. And so doesn't mean that we don't pick up phones anymore. Doesn't mean that we're not talking face to face with clients. It doesn't mean that we're completely alienating everybody.
Yeah, that's the empathy rule we talked about a little bit earlier. I mean, if you're
talking about empowerment,
if you're a sales guy and you're like, oh, I'm going to use AI to send a bunch of emails and whatever. No, like, use the integration with maybe LinkedIn or something to find warm leads that you can figure out it might be perfect for your buyer persona. And then you yourself, pick up the phone and call the top 5. Like, you should be using this as a tool to empower yourself.
Exactly. So, all right, here's what I've got. I'm excited about this because this is like my passion now. Like, this is just my unlocked. 3 years ago, I squinted at AI. And I went, what are you?
Yeah. And even then it was, 24 months of maturity.
And yeah, it was pretty early. And I gotta be honest with you. I'm sitting here as a guy who is very, very, very much all in, right? In a lot of ways. It does not mean that what you're going to see is you're not going to see some people disappear from Lighthouse. But again, you're going to see some augmentations to our team. And what I want to do is if you're sitting there, if you're a small business owner, okay, or you're an influencer to a business that could really use this type of help, if you're looking to reclaim some hours without risking your data, don't just sign up for a bunch of software thinking it's going to make your life easier. Let's plan it out. Let's talk about it. And another thing, we're willing to put some kind of like proverbial money where our mouth is. I want you to break the ice with AI. And so routinely, Lighthouse has what we call our AI summits or training days. I'm going to put you in front of a chat window. We're going to start with chatbots, right? And we'll talk about agentic workflows a little bit. But I'm going to break the ice between you and AI.
Yeah,
and
like free event, just like literally we're just trying to educate.
in fact, if you're on our blog or you're looking, and maybe we can make sure that the YouTube spot where this sits has a link to where you can.
Yeah, we just have lighthouseSOL.com/AI, and that always goes to the most recent event that we're having.
And that way, oh, that's awesome. And that way, you can see when the next one is scheduled.
Yeah.
Again,
there's a wait list too if you want to just register for that.
And there is, oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
You did set up a wait list. So if you don't want to forget, sign up on the wait list when the time comes that we get the next one scheduled. We're trying to do a couple of them a year. If there's a lot of interest, we'll kick it up. But we really think that in the 6 months cadence, you'll really be able to see the changes and learn a lot. And
yeah, and people come back to learn more because things have changed. So
exactly. So start there. Start with that. Or if you already have some confidence, we've got a secure AI platform that we partnered with a company on that allows us to get it in your hands and start using it right away. And we have some office hours in which you can sit and talk to me a little bit through our headset. It's time. The time, I think, for businesses, if you're going to get on this train, we are finally there. AI has finally hit the maturity that it needed. It's constantly growing and it's constantly refining. But right now, we've hit the spot. We've hit the markers where now's the time to start looking at how it can make your business better. Maybe not 10x. Maybe that's just all marketing fluff. But I guarantee you, it's going to make life a lot easier.
Yep. I mean, if it saves a couple hours for a couple people, then that is probably more money than you realize.
More than anything, probably more than what you're spending on some of these, some of these solutions. The upkeep and the maintenance is pretty great.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. The future is here, man.
Yeah.
It's so cool. The future is here, and I can't wait. And that's pretty much it for this edition of the Lighthouse IT Solutions podcast. Hopefully, you're walking away challenged but encouraged that that now's the time. Start thinking about it. Start asking questions in your office.
And we do have a little quick Lighthouse Labs video on that secure AI platform.
Oh yeah, the hats one.
You can look at the demo if you're interested in at least seeing our trusted version.
Yeah.
It's pretty sweet in my opinion. So
works very well too.
Yeah, it does.
Yep.
And it's got agents too, which is wild.
That product is just steamrolling features every month. It's crazy.
Yeah. And integrations.
And integrations, absolutely. So, all right. Well, with that, I hope we've given you lots to think on. I hope we get to see or hear from you at an AI event or maybe a hats demo, whatever it is. But until then, take care. We'll catch you next time on the next Lighthouse IT Solutions podcast.
See you.